Hello guys, today in this video we are going to talk about a short story entitled Under the Banyan Tree, written by R.K. Narayan. So guys, first of all, introduction to the author. Guys, the story Under the Banyan Tree has been written by R.K. Narayan. He was born in Madras in 1906. His father was a school teacher in village Rashipuram. As a student, the author was not a brilliant student. He failed both in the high school and intermediate examination. He graduated at the age of 24 from Maharaja College, Mysore in 1930. In 1935, he came into contact of Razam. He fell in love with her and married with her. She left him in 1939 forever. Her death was a great shock for him. Narayan started his career as a teacher, journalist, and finally as a writer. He was awarded Padma Bhushan in 1969 and Sahitya Academy Award in 1961. He died in 2001. Guys, his major writings are The English Teacher, Malgudi Days, Financial Expert, The Guide, and The Man Eater of Malgudi, and so on. Guys, now introduction to the story. The story Under the Banyan Tree has been written by R.K. Narayan. This story has been extracted from Narayan's collection entitled Under the Banyan Tree and Other Stories. It is an interesting story about a storyteller, Nambi, who provides pleasures to the villagers with his interesting stories. The author gives the graphic picture of village Somal, Nambi's daily routine, and his storytelling. Nambi is dependent on villagers for his food and clothing. Nambi is old and eccentric but alert. The turning point in Nambi's life comes when he fails to uh, tell a story and falls ill. Thus, in this story, the author wants to depict the condition of isolation, how a man can manage to entertain himself by involving among others. Guys, the critical summary of Nambi's character. He is the prominent character, or must say who the story revolves around around him. And now critical summary of Nambi's character. To assess the story of Nambi and his character, we have to study the story deeply. There was a big banyan tree in the village temple, and it had a niche in its trunk. Whenever Nambi had a tail ready, he would light light a small lamp and place it in the niche. The villagers knew what this lighting of the lamp mean. They would see the lamp and come at night to hear the story told by Nambi. The villagers come in large numbers. There were men, women, and children among them. They gathered under the banyan tree where the storyteller appears yet. He would be sitting in sanctum with his eyes shut. He sat before the goddess in deep meditation. Then he would come out and take his seat on a stone platform and started to tell his story. Nami builds his story on an epic scale. It took about 10 days to complete the story. The first day, he describes the setting of the tale, and then he would say, "Now, friends, mother says his the mother says this would do for today." Thus, the story would continue on different nights, and on the days when the story was completed, the whole gathering went into the sanctum and protest, prostrated before the goddesses. Goddess Durga. Nambi is an old man. He is about 60 or 70. He acts as a priest in the village temple. He lives a very simple life. His only thing is a broom which with which he sweeps the temple. He had also a couple of dhotis and kurtas. He eats and wears what he gets from the villagers. He keeps the villagers spell bound by his narrations. The villagers quote his words of wisdom. So, guys, now his second point is his religious attitude. Nambi is deeply religious. He prays to goddess in the beginning of the story, and after the ending of the story, he says that it is the goddess that gives him stories. He has no regards when he loses his power of storytelling. He says it is the mother who gives us. He says that it is the goddess that gives him stories. He has no regards when he loses his power of storytelling. He says it is the mother who gives us the gifts and takes away the gifts. But what is the use of jasmine when it has lost its scent? What is the lamp for when oil is gone? So, guys, the next point is his art of storytelling. Once again, his art of storytelling. Nami tells his story in dramatic way. The first day went in description of the setting. He would give a detailed description of the king, his palace, his darbar, the ministers, and the subjects. And then he would say, "Now, friends, mother says this would be enough for today." Thus, the story continued on different nights, and it took 10 days to end the story. Nambi makes his spellbound. Nambi's stories had all the fascination of an epic. Now, guys, ironic turn in Nambi's life. Once again, ironic turn in Nambi's life. The main job of Nambi was to entertain the villagers by his long, interesting stories, and Nambi has doing it for many years. But one night he starts of Uh, he starts to forget as soon as he begins his story. He forgets the entire story. He cannot understand what has happened to him. Suddenly, he realizes that he has become old. The lamp has burnt all its oil. Nami used to keep his audience spellbound, but now he is unable to keep the people listen his story, so he decided to remain silent. It is quite the opposite of what is used to be. Thus, we see irony in Nami's fate at the end of the story. The turning point in Nami's life comes when he fails to create a story, he falls silent. Thus, we can say that Nambi's story telling has an undercurrent of humor. He remains silent after losing his quality. So guys, this is a very heart touching and interesting story, and hope you will like it. Thank you.